Hi, Samantha Condoy here, certified classical homeopath, here to talk today about homeopathy for colds. I know it's that time of the year, and I just wanted to share some remedies you can use or have on hand just in case. Here's my disclaimer in terms of really check with somebody, your medical professional, before adding something to what you're already taking. And then I wanted to talk about what homeopathy is just briefly. It is very gentle. It does work with the body, and it can really help to strengthen the body when you're having symptoms. It's actually really symptom driven. So generally without symptoms, we don't have anything to match up a remedy with. So it works best when the remedy picture matches with your symptoms. And then there's stages of illness. So I wanted to talk about like right before you get a cold or before you get really any illness, there is like this window, if you can tap into it to help support your body before you get full-blown illness. So the first thing you could try would be a constitutional remedy. If you're on one with your homeopath, sometimes just redosing or taking a dose can really help to boost your immune system. If you're not on a constitutional remedy or that's not indicated, then something I will recommend to my clients is Aconitum napellus. And it's one of those ones I keep in my purse with me if I feel like I've just starting to get, a little tickle in the throat or feeling like temperature off or just feeling kind of on the verge of getting sick. I will take a dose of the Aconitum napellus. And then Ferrum phos is it's salt number 4. And it kind of does the same thing as aconitum, but can just be a really helpful way to boost up the immune system just right before you're getting sick. So you've got a cold. What are some remedies that could help to support you? So one of the first ones, or one that is very distinctive, I will say, is alien cepa. It's made from red onion. And what you will find here is there's just a lot of watery discharge. So if you've ever had a cold where you can't be away from a tissue box where you feel like you need to just kind of shove the tissues up your nose because your nose is running like a faucet, alien cepa is a remedy that can be really supportive in that case. There may be some burning of the discharge, so you may notice like your nose or your upper lip are a little red, or even your eyes are running as well as your nose. So that could be really helpful. This remedy could be really helpful. And then remedies have things that make them better or things that make them worse. So in this case with alien cepa, they're really it's like cool open air, just being in cold rooms are really helpful, whereas a warm room is not so helpful. They feel worse. The symptoms get worse when they're in a warm room or in damp weather or in the evening time. Another remedy to consider is Kali bichromum. This is made from a potassium, and when you have a Kali bichromum cold because it's very different than the alien cepa. It's a lot thicker in its presentation. So the nasal discharge is really thick, ropey, and it really can be helpful if you're having sinus congestion and as well as sinus headaches. This can be a really great remedy to have on hand. And in this case, they're better with heat, motion, and pressure. So like putting a hot compress on the sinuses or even pressing on the sinuses, if that makes you feel better, this could be a remedy to consider. Whereas cold and damp make them feel worse, or in the morning time, their symptoms are worse. Another remedy for colds and for a lot of things is Nux vomica. And the thing about Nux vomica, I have a few symptoms, a few physical symptoms, but sometimes for me, it's the when it came on. So if your cold comes on after overwork, so maybe you've had a deadline at work or school, or it's just like back to school season or the holidays, and you suddenly start getting the sniffles. This is a great, really supportive remedy to consider. And temperament-wise, Nux vomica is really supportive if you're feeling really irritable. This will happen to me. I'll start to feel like the things I need to do, I just kind of get irritated. And then I go, I think I've been doing too much. And then I'll take a dose of Nux vomica and I'll be like, okay. My body goes, thank you. But it's just that impatient kind of type A personality can really benefit from Nux vomica. And then you can see the better or worse. They're better resting, hot drinks, and worse with more coffee. So a lot of times the Nux vomica, someone needing Nux vomica or who could benefit from Nux vomica coffee is their friend, but not so much when they're not feeling well. And then lastly, pulsatilla. So this is a little bit like our Kali bichromum in terms of there's the thicker discharge. In this case with pulsatilla, they've got the green and the yellow, and it's a little more pudding-like versus the Kali bichromum was more of a ropey presentation. You really know pulsatilla when you need it because it's like this, you just want to be around other people. You may want to hug. You may just really want to be outdoors and feel much better outside with very little thirst. And then there also may be an earache that accompanies the cold in the pulsatilla picture. And then here you can see the better is being outdoors, being held, and symptoms are worse in heat and after rich foods. And then the end of stage of illness, so kind of as things are still lingering on, something you could consider, again, constitutional remedy, check with your homeopath. If you don't have a homeopath, you can check with me. We can talk. Or the phosphoric acidum is a great way, especially if there's just like a lot of depletion. Like you just feel like, wow, I'm exhausted, really can't, I'm just not like, motivating or getting, my energy back. A dose of phosphoric acidum can be really supportive. And then cell salt wise, calc sulf number 3 can be helpful in just kind of clearing out any sort of lingering discharge or symptoms from a cold. So those are some symptoms to consider. If you have more questions, please contact me. I love teaching people about how to use homeopathy and then helping people when they get stuck or if they want, to dive a little deeper into homeopathy. All right, stay healthy.